All right, fishing with swim baits. All right, it's in the fall. Obviously, the fall is hit, and we've got a lot of stuff going on our river systems, at least where I am, which is the DMV, District of Maryland and Virginia, in that, as well as some the Susquehanna and Pennsylvania that we like to fish. And a lot of people really don't equate swim baits to smallmouth bass. Not yet, anyway. On a larger scale, I think it's coming because what a lot of people are experiencing and out on the water is using those smaller size swim baits. When I mean by small, I mean like two and a half paddle tail to like 3.4 size. Tend to be legit. A lot of people are still putting them on like bigger profile as trailers and such, but not fishing them um, alone. And they're missing out, okay? Because especially when you get a little bit of rising water, and now you've got the fall reposition, the fall transition happening where the smallies are roaming around. And there are a couple different ways that obviously you can ring that. And I'm going to show probably my most popular kind of confidence way now after a bunch of trial and error with, soft with hand pours for custom swim baits is really the line through. It's well known, but just kind of rigging it a little bit different. Kind of like my own poison in terms of how I rig it in. This one's actually gotten beat up. I'm actually going to put some new eyes. I got a bunch of different colored eyes. You can get eyes for your soft plastics at a place like Lure Build. Online, lurebuild.com. You can get different size eyes and you can change it out. So I've got blue, I've got yellow, I've got red eyes. And oftentimes I'll just change that out, as I need to, but also intentionally change it out for sometimes to try something up different. I really, really, really like the red eye. Okay. For some reason, I will catch more with the red eye than I will with the yellow or see if I got one in here. The blue eye on the same bait. I know we can't explain why that is. Coincidence maybe or not, or it's just they're keying on that red. And then you've got your tube inside. You can see that inside the bait here, where you make your channel, and then I've got the treble hook on the bottom. And I bait that's very simple rigging. That's it. I don't weight these down at all. I want them to have that free, like crazy movement in the water. And especially guys, if you are fishing for smallies and river systems, you pretty much are working current seams and the current's going to do a lot of that work for you. It really just comes down to your positioning of where you are with your wade fishing, kayak fishing, or your jet boat, or in terms of letting that current do the work for you, as opposed to needing weight or wanting to get down. And probably the only change that I make to this size swim bait, let's go up through it. Okay, so this is pretty much my smallie when I want to go fishing in the rivers for smallies, and I really don't ever go larger than this. And then if I move to a tidal situation like our rivers, whether it be tidal James River versus upper James, tidal Potomac versus upper Potomac, I then will increase the size. The forage fish are bigger in your tidal fisheries than in your non-tidal fisheries, for the most part. So I'll up the size, which means I'll up obviously my treble. And I know there are some guys who will go with two treble setups, okay? So I really like this pattern, and I really love these patterns, okay? These color sets, because they really mirror those herring and the shad that are going to be in a tidal fishery. Doesn't matter, what tidal fishery it is. Maybe your lake or reservoir's got both shad and herring and bluebacks. One of the things here in our region that they're just about ready to do in about a week is trout stocking. And so I've already gone through these just mirror rainbow trout, right? And so when your DNR or your DWR stocks trout in the cold water, where they traditionally stock trout, okay, your bass in that fishery will go on a feeding frenzy, and this is absolute fire, okay? And you can do these all different kinds of hand pours, traditional hand pours, for example, with the solid belly, and then you've got obviously room for your hook slot. Okay, so there are different things that you can do, whether you're doing a traditional swim bait head, a single hook, you're going to do a treble line through. My traditional line through baits, a lot of times I'll tuck what I'll do when I set this up is I'll throw in the treble in there, and then I'll add a little heat, okay, to get that plastic hot a little bit, and then pinch it and then let it cool down, and it basically keeps that treble hook up in there. And it adds a little bit of security too. They're still going to get thrashed, over time in a day if you're on them. And then we'll go up, okay? Go up to the next size, okay? Which is then you're getting into really big water territory, okay? When you found the bait ball and you found like that, and they're biting. It's something you can do because you can start with this size, and then you're getting bit and getting bit through that transition phase of fall, and they're moving up, and you've seen bait balls, or maybe you've seen some failing bait fish, and they're feeding up. After that happens and you've caught fish with this size, that's when I will go up to catch a bigger fish, okay, to try and entice a bigger bite. And it's one of those things where you get like one or two, or none, versus getting 5, 6, or 7. And this size, the smaller you get, the easy meals tend to be where that's at. But that's just how I like to do this. I've got a couple colorations that I prefer, like for the smallies. Really like anything that is shiner minnow type colorations, or anything that's got blue, chartreuse blues, like this, greens in it, that just have that kind of silhouette in the water, okay? That are like the right size. And of course you don't have to go with the line through setup. I just really like it. And like I said before, the only really adjustment that I'll make versus tidal versus say non-tidal is my line, okay? It depends on the situational. If you're seeing those bait balls and you're seeing stuff a lot at the top, what a lot of people will do is they'll throw those baits out. Maybe they're throwing a hard bait, swim bait, or maybe a glide bait, and those are getting down, right? Those are getting a little bit down, or maybe someone's throwing another, chatter, trying to throw a chatter bait or something like that, or even like me. I try to fish these a little bit like a jerk bait, and depending scenario. So if I want to get down, okay, a little bit below subsurface, I am going to go with a P-Line CXX, okay? Abrasion resistant, extra tough, extra strong. It'll never let you down. It's freaking awesome, awesome. But if I want to try something nuts and crazy and just, okay, and I want this to stay surface, right? To stay right or just below, throw it right into something, you're going to want, something with castability, okay, so it allows you to get in there without being so close, okay, and like low memory, okay, and buoyant, and that's what I will go with P-Line Topwater, okay. This is a copolymer. I've used this in a numerous number of applications, and I love it. It's probably my favorite line from P-Line, and I use it on any number of applications that I never would have thought I ever would, when I want something to be, up in that first third of the water column, okay? Especially if you got low. When I'm on the upper Potomac or the Monocacy or a river like that has low level conditions in terms of water, the water's only 2 feet deep, and I'm still want to fish, I almost always go to a kind of a buoyant line, because I want it to kind of stay close. I don't want it to keep getting it, because there's not enough water, right? Density and depth. Okay, so I kind of want to keep this across the top, because traditionally that's where you're going to see a lot of the forage and a lot of that swimming around. And so it's just a really great line. So check P-Line out for that. And that's really it. So that's kind of like the swim baits now, looking for that paddletail. Obviously a lot of people use them for trailers, like I said, but try and use them by themselves. Okay, and see how it goes. And let me know in the comments if you've done this or how it works out for you.